here we go. So I put this the right way. Before we get into the film, I just want to say that I think it's between it and The Ghostwriter. It's a lovely sort of almost spiritual counterbalance to the second Sex and the City film.
Oh, okay.
Which I really, you know, I just thought that I love the show, and I'm sure most people agree. I just didn't like the second one in particular, and actually both of them. But you know, no slight here. I'm just being honest, you know. But
You're entitled to your opinion.
I just anyway, I really thought you were good in the Polanski. That was it wasn't an expensive role, but you got it just right.
Thank
and
you.
I was really, you know.
Thank you. It was interesting because you know, I think a lot of people have something invested in actors staying the same, and I think some people were uncomfortable seeing me do something different. But some people, like yourself, got it. And I think that...
Who was uncomfortable? Are you talking about the reviews? The reviews
Yeah.
are almost like 80-90% positive, no?
Well, they were. There was a couple of people who said, you know, I think that they were waiting for me to be Samantha. I really think that's what was happening, and I think that can take you outside of a film. I agree. But I never felt there was any part of... Samantha to me was a terrific job. But when they literally said cut or wrap, then I wasn't Samantha anymore.
Right.
And I've been an actress for a long time. I've done work before and now, thankfully, after.
Yeah.
And I see each role, I feel like I get better, I get stronger.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm still a leading lady in my 50s is extraordinary. I never expected that. So I'm very grateful. But I also feel I work hard.
And the other thing that was a blockage initially, was that I didn't care for the one sheet that Monica Velour had, in which you were in the spotlight, you know. Strangely, I mean, you look very much like yourself, and you look really good today.
Thank you.
And it's very nice. It's you know, and I just felt that person that they got, I'm presuming it was you, but it just didn't quite have your eyes, didn't have your thing.
Doesn't.
So I know that you were gaining weight for the role. I understand that part,
No,
but
that
it
was
still didn't look like you.
That was purposeful.
Okay.
My idea of Monica doing that strip is she's not in her body.
All right.
So I wanted that dead stare because she's not really there. I inhabit my body. I'm very, at least I think so, vital, alive. I'm communicating. I'm open.
Right.
This is a character who has no hope. She's been marginalized, and she's really an outcast. And her objective is to get the custody of her daughter.
Right.
And everything she's doing, she doesn't want to be stripping in that club. She doesn't want to have the life of a trailer park, you know, snorting meth with bikers. That's not what she wants.
Yeah.
She has a dream to go to Oregon with her kid and have people not look down their noses at her anymore. I mean, she says it in this film. But everything in this performance, I feel I haven't been able to do before. I haven't had an opportunity to do before. I haven't had a role like this before. I've waited my life to have this opportunity, in the sense of this is a multi-dimensional character. How often do you get to see that in a movie, never mind play it? So I felt very, very blessed that Keith fought for me, because there were other actresses who want to play this role. And he hadn't seen Sex and the City. Maybe if he had, I wouldn't be on his list. I don't know. Because, again, it's ingrained in people's psyche. And he met me as Kim, and we talked about the script, and he said to me later, he said, you get it, I like your questions. And I said, let's get together and you know, get a rehearsal room and bounce this around like a gym. And I asked him a lot of questions. He had really great answers. Keith is a journalist, a film journalist, and a lover of American films, as I am. And this is a quintessential American film. It's also a fable. It's about this woman who's over the hill, has no hope, and this young knight in the form of a skinny 6'4" geek.
I didn't realize he was 6'4" from the film.
Yeah, he's really tall.
He looks angular, obviously,
He's
but
really tall.
Okay.
And and how they literally set each other free. And I found actually doing this was setting me free. You know, in some ways, like Monica, I have been marginalized. Sometimes by a character, sometimes by my age. It's also becoming an issue to be a woman over 50 and still be working in the business, never mind headlining.
Don't you think
It's
that's
extraordinary.
changed somewhat in the last? I mean, I remember writing an article in the late 90s about how it's really, you know, everybody hits a wall around 40, 45. And isn't it somewhat better? I don't mean to make it...
I think there's a handful of actresses,
Yeah,
you know.
but
and-
generally not, okay.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
there's maybe Annette Bening and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Well, Meryl Streep is in her 60s,
Yeah.
late 50s, early 60s, which is another generation.
Mm.
So you just think, wow, that's,
Yeah.
there's few Jane Fonda, Jen
Right.
Suzman, Judi Dench, but they became leading ladies in their 60s, really, 50s, 60s, after a whole decades of, you know, devoting themselves to theater and television. So I feel fortunate that I'm one of the few that has survived.
Well,
Continue to.
it's a very respectable, good film. I was surprised. I didn't expect it from the posters, I said, so
You know,
it's much
sadly,
better than I thought it would
it's
be.
not a poster that I would have picked, but this is a small independent film company, Anchor Bay. They don't have money for a poster. We didn't even have really money for, you know, a trailer. Keith put the trailer together. And, you know, Keith is also, it's his first film, which is just, it's so charming. He made up these cards. I'm so sorry fishing in my bag here. To publicize the movie. Oh, I think I might have given them all up, but
This is a Keith and Monica Velour card that he made up, you're
no,
saying?
it's actually just a copy of the poster,
Okay.
just with the information, because he wants people to go see his movie. This is his first movie. He's 40. He's not 20 or 30. And the thing that we don't know about directors, you know, we see actors come and go, but with the directors, they usually get one chance to make a hit.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, they don't ever get financed again.
Well, but it can work as a success d'estime, and then people say, well, that was good. At least we can trust that he's a good filmmaker.
Yes,
Right.
I think it makes a reputation.
Yeah.
But unless a movie is seen
Right.
and it makes some kind of money, people are not going to invest. It's show business. And that's the reality of it.
And significantly different since '08, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The saddest thing about independent films for me now is that cable television, I think, has taken a huge chunk of that market away. And a lot of them have started networks themselves. But that experience that was so unique for me as a young actor coming up, and just as a young person coming up, is going to a movie theater, you know, in the 70s and seeing 5 Easy Pieces, you know, or Harold and Maude, which this reminded me of. Coming Home, I mean, these kind of movies, you know, that were they were artistically driven, and they were stories. To me, they were quintessential American movies, and that's what I love about them. I can't relate to techno whiz movies. Those to me are technical films or science fiction, which I love that genre. But I also have a real need in my diet for stories about American life, and I think the rest of the world does too. I showed this film on a screener to a friend of mine in England, and the first thing he said to me, "I love this. This is American. This is an American movie." Because it's very human, and you get these people. You get rural America. You get a history.
But it's very disciplined, though. That's the other thing. It's good character. It's good story. It does not feel. It doesn't seem to drift at all. It's much better than I thought it would be.
Nothing really happens. Well, I beg to differ.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, what do you need to happen?
Right.
You know, there are transitions that happen,
Right.
and the pace that he allows these characters to grow together,
Right.
and the way he shoots it. There's no frenetic camera moves
Right.
ever.
Right.
You know, he has enough confidence
Yeah.
in the story that he's telling
Right.
to just let those characters talk.